Yo, what's up? This is entry number one of a million, probably, of the Bo Knows podcasting. Kind of want to give just a general guidelines, give you a table of contents, maybe, for kind of what this whole thing is about. Let me just give you like a who, what, when, where, why, how of what this is all about, really. So I know absolutely nobody's gonna listen to this. I just want to make that abundantly clear. Nobody is gonna listen to this. It's really more just for me to get out and put down devices, not have something displayed to me and shot and injected into my brain 24 hours a day, because most days I'll be getting off work and scrolling, watching YouTube while scrolling, playing Nintendo Switch while scrolling and watching a show. Like, it's just gets too much. And at a certain point I kind of just wondered, like, do I still have the ability to think, like, and just truly have a linear train of thought without having to be distracted every 2 seconds. And is that because I'm older now and have real thoughts, and I'm like kind of afraid to dive into what I should be thinking about or what I actually do think about, and instead I distract myself. So this is kind of a way to force myself to not rely on listening to other podcasts or other people's conversations or other people's content, just to get through the day because I'm bored. Like I believe boredom is a great thing. It's a very wonderful tool. It's let me do a lot of great things. Being on an island for a summer and not really having phone service really did a great benefit for me. Mentally, physically, I was getting out and about, and I don't know, I just kind of felt myself getting into the same routines of just, coming home, taking a nap, eating, just wasting my time until the next day comes and I have something forced upon me to do, rather than actually going out and doing something awesome myself just because I can and I want to. We can all do great things. It's just a matter of, letting yourself be bored. So I guess that might be the whole, the whole theme of this whole, whatever this is. Podcasts usually have like topics and stuff like that. And of course I have some stuff that sparks inspiration. But I don't want this to be like a commentary channel where I just talk about what's hot in the news, like some Daily Show or something like that. So basically run you through the 5 W's and an H. So who am I? I'm Bo. I work in conservation, mainly marine biology. Right now I'm in June. Damn, you saw that tricep right there? Sweaty. Right now on a sailboat, but I'll get to that on the where. But right now we're at who. Again, I'm Bo, working marine bio, conservation, really just trying to be a scientist for the earth, I guess. Started in North Carolina. That's where I was born, just outside of Charlotte, small town. So glad I didn't grow up in like a huge city like that. Like, I'm just outside of it, so it's kind of like I leech off of that, it runs downstream a bit, but I don't get the full like hustle and bustle, kind of New York City mentality. Just I've been moving and shaking since graduating from Wilmington. I'm sure I'll probably get into more about myself and stuff like that as I do these entries. Like, I would love to do like a full sea turtle episode, because that's my jam right there. Like, I could ramble for a while on that, and I have stories and backstories and reasons behind, why I do it and, what has made it so awesome at this point. So that would be for a later day. Nobody really cares about that right now. What? So what this is it's just me. It's basically a diary. It's just a personal diary without calling it a diary because those are gay. It's basically me just saying what I am interested in at the moment. Like, I don't want this to be some commentary, or me fucking whining and talking about, I don't like this, so I'm going to talk about this because I don't like this. And here's my opinions on it. It's not like an opinion piece place. Like, I just want to give a stream of thought, and it's mainly just for me to like flesh these out. I don't know if you guys do this, but I kind of just like, I run through conversations and scenarios in my head all fucking day. I've had this what I'm recording right now. I've ran over this conversation all day yesterday and today. I've had this same exact, I guess, monologue, not really a conversation, like 20 times. I don't know why, but just like I give like a call and response to myself in my head at all times, and it's so annoying. And so this is for me to just like finally get everything out, put it on like paper, and not have to think about it anymore. It just feels like a game of like ping pong that's never ending inside my head. So I just want to, it's nothing like serious. Like, I'm not like coming up with anything breakthrough. Like, I just want to get out what's in my head once and for all so I can move on to something like new. When? I don't really know. I will just record these whenever I'm able to get out on the boat. I think having like a set schedule is kind of whack, because then you just like force yourself to think of something, and then it's just like, do I really care? And like, I know nobody's going to see this, but I would like it to be like, if somebody stumbles across this YouTube channel in 100 years, them to be like, okay, like this, he wasn't just like saying whatever to like get listeners, which would be sick. Like, don't get me wrong, like me saying I know nobody's gonna, damn, I'm sweating. Me saying I know nobody's gonna listen is like, I wish people would listen. Like, that'd be so cool if even 100 people just like tuned in once every so often to like hear my thoughts. And it like, maybe they don't even really care about my thoughts. Maybe they just like have background noise, and I can provide like some sort of, like distraction from like, I don't know, if you're working in like a warehouse or something, and you're just like, you know what, let me tune into this and just like kind of disassociate from what I'm doing right now. That would be really awesome to me. Like I said, for the where, on a sailboat. So whenever I move, right now I'm living in Juno Beach, Florida. Whenever I moved down here, I was originally going to live on this very sailboat. It was just for 6 months. It was whatever, like I was just looking for somewhere cheap and temporary, and trying to find that, like an Airbnb would have been like $2,000 a month for just a regular house, just like for me to live in. And I was like, no, I'm not spending. First of all, I couldn't spend that. And second of all, it's like, I don't want to. Like, it just doesn't seem right to spend that much money on something like long term. You're guaranteed the money, just not for as long as you may like if you own the home, which, fair. It's your house, do whatever you want with it. But yeah, I just got creative a little bit and was, I found people on Facebook Marketplace that were selling their, I was looking at campers and sailboats, people who were selling those. And, you know, these things take a while. My logic, these things take a while to sell. So while they're in the process of, you know, finding somebody, let me live here and pay you what it was gonna. I was looking for like 700-800 a month. Let me pay you almost $3,000, $4,000 just to live here for 6 months. And, you know, if it sells in that time, or if it sells afterwards, great, you made another $3,000 on top of whatever you're going to sell it for originally. And I would have, like, this place is like kind of a mess, just because he's like fixing it up and all that. But I would have cleaned it, I would have made it livable because I would be living here. So it'd be like a win-win. So I basically just went around, had a few bites, and then this was like the last one that I was going to live on, or be able to live on. And came in, he's really cool. Obviously, he's really cool. He's letting me just kind of like chill here because he has another boat. So this is his like project boat. So it was like a really kind of perfect situation. Luckily, though, I found Steve. Shout out Steve. He's letting me live in his nice condo with him. You know, we hang out. He's cool as hell. For $600 a month, and it's 1 minute, literally 1 minute from my work. So obviously I did that, because this is anchored out right now. I don't know if you guys can. I'll show you what we're working with here. So I don't really know what I just showed there, but that is pretty much showing that I'm anchored out right now. Like I'm not docked, I'm not on land right now, so I would have to paddle in and out every day on top of a 20-minute drive to work, on top of paying $200 extra a month. So it didn't work out, but it did work out because now I can live 1 minute from work and also chill out here and go spearfishing, diving, snorkeling, whatever I really want. As you know, paying my dues, I'm going to help clean it up a bit and, you know, see what else I can kind of help out with. But I chose this place as, you know, the podcast studio, just because it gives me, like, it's my office, you know, like I can treat it as an office, like, whereas home, it wouldn't feel right to kind of like do extra work where somewhere where that's supposed to be my leisure. That's supposed to be my do nothing place. Like just eat, chill, you know, relax. So I didn't want to like intermix, you know, an activity such as this and, you know, fucking my home, like my bedroom. Also, Steve would be like, what the fuck are you, who are you talking to in there? Yeah, so I just chose this place because, and the most important thing is it allows me to like really feel like I'm getting away from everything, you know, which is the whole point of this. I want to be able to feel like I'm stepping away, because obviously I still have I'm not a mile offshore, like I still have cell service and all that, but it really gives that like arm's length distance of you know, every day sit at home on the couch and watch shows or whatever. And it just lets me, you know, think. Like, this is a wonderful, wonderful place to sit back and relax. Like, I don't know if you hear it, but the boat's rocking right now. The boats are rocking and nobody's knocking. Yeah, it's just great. It's soothing. I love it's really not the water that sounds great. For some reason it's the ropes stretching like on each other. Like you hear the like I don't know, that sound specifically it's just so soothing to me. Maybe it's because I associate that with moving water. Probably why I like it so much. And also how, you know, the most important one, like everybody forgets the how, Everybody forgets, why is also a vow. The how, I just think that I am, I don't have any special thoughts. Everything that I think, 1,000 people have also thought the same thing. Maybe I have different interests, or maybe the specific thing that I am thinking about isn't what somebody's thinking about, but somebody has thought about the same thing just for a different thing. So I really just want to make this as hyper focused on my thoughts, nobody else's, and just flesh it out and just and be able to leave here, press end on the record button, leave here, and be able to just take a breath. In my mind, not have to keep on, going through scenario. Like I'm Doctor Stranging everything, like I go through all 1 billion quadrillion possibilities, and then I find the one that works, and then I never end up in the scenario that I was just thinking of in the first place. So it's just exhausting, and I got tired of it. And it's just so, I feel like I'll just be able to finally, mentally relax after doing these. That's why I consider it more of like a journal, not like documenting my journeys, because, that's just life. Everybody's on their own paths and on their own journeys. Like, nobody has time to listen to somebody else's path unless it inspires them in some way to continue their own journey. A lot of people, like, I don't know, you'll listen to David Goggins or who else? Damn, that's sad that I can't think of anybody else. Who I like? Oh, I was about to say Anne Frank. Yeah, you'll listen to people with crazy stories and journeys, and they're meant to inspire people to strike it out on their own, take control of their own lives, or stand up for what's right, or whatever. And the problem is, 9 times out of 10, it just is the next distraction that gets them to avoiding their own journey, their own, not problems, because you can't really avoid problems, but it gets you to distract yourself from your own world. Everybody has their own world. Everybody has their own orbit, and to think that the world doesn't revolve around this person or that person. The world revolves around every single person in their own way. You really can't, fault somebody for, considering putting themselves first, or thinking about their family. Like, I truly think, like, my girlfriend Sarah, she's from a small town in upstate New York, but obviously also lives in the modern age, where we have this technology, we have all the information in the world at our fingertips at all times, oldest story in the book. But I think having that much exposure to the world, but also being in this small town, tight-knit community is the perfect balance of, making a great person. And, that's why I love her so much. She has everything that, they know everybody in their town. They know the families, like in a movie where somebody's like, oh yeah, the Jacksons live down the street, or the fucking Williams live down on East Ave, or whatever, like that kind of stuff. I think that kind of stuff matters, because it kind of helps make you realize how important each individual person is. Like, it doesn't matter, there's only so much you can do, they're like you can only help so many people. You're not going to help a country. You're not going to help the entire Amazon rainforest. It just takes a million small groups of people to really make a difference. Not one big group, not the whole world. It just takes a bunch of small groups to make a big difference. I kind of lost the plot there a little bit, but I think what I was getting at is me making this podcast for myself. Yeah. So this podcast is my orbit. This is my solar system. This is going to be, kind of everything that concerns myself in a way. And that might not really affect that many people. Nobody's going to care. Nobody really has anything to specifically relate to. But I just think that I don't know, just people shouldn't be ashamed to just say what they need to say. A lot of people say what they want to say and they think they need to be listened to, but I think it's important to be able to say what you need to say and, not expect people to give a fuck. I don't really expect people to care about this at all. But I think it will be a great benefit and to myself, and if you like it, you like it. It kind of goes through about everything with the exodus of why I'm doing this. But yeah, also shout out to Should Have Been There Records. They Hoyt, Link, Winnie, they really have made an impact on life. Not to get too weird, but they're not afraid to put themselves out there and and make a post, and say fuck it, who cares, everybody's been nobody till there's somebody. And it's not that they're clout hungry or bro, I'm gonna make it big. It's just that it's who gives a fuck? Like I said, everybody's in their own orbit, and it's just it's so whack of me. I always for some reason I had this thing in my head where it's oh, I don't want to make something about, I'd never want to make anything about me in a way. Not in some weird way, but just I don't know, little things like birthdays. I never make a big deal about my birthday. I don't really do anything for my birthday. It's just if people want to give me money, I'm down. But it's not I'm not hey, pull up for my birthday, let's all sing to me. Just little things like that, or trying not to be the center of attention. But started to realize that is trying, thinking that there's being afraid of the possibility of being the center of attention is one thing, but it's almost I was expecting to be the center of attention and I was rejecting it before anybody even offered it. It's me going no, I don't want $1 million. And then everybody's nobody was gonna give you $100. You're good. You don't have to worry about it. So it just kind of got to a point where I was all right, fuck it. I'm just going to do this, and, I've got a cool podcast name, Bo Knows Podcasting. Shout out Bo Jackson. Yeah, it's pretty much the whole spiel. I know I said I wasn't going to, make this a commentary thing, but I mean, the next thing I'm about to record, because this is just the prelude to what this whole thing is about. But I did have an idea about, or not an idea, a topic that kind of struck a chord inside me. And we'll get to that next episode. Tune in to the next episode coming up very shortly after this. that kind of inspires more of a train of thought. Like, I'm not really going to talk about the thing. I'm not going to talk about the center of the donut. I'm going to talk about, how the donut was made, more so, and what the donut tastes like, but not just the donut itself. So yeah, hopefully, you guys, whoever is watching this, hopefully you guys just, have a good open mind. You'll need a good open mind to listen to this. Yeah, I think it'll be I think it'll be a little enjoyable. And yeah, just whatever kind of strikes a nerve in you, hopefully it continues and we just might be on the same wavelength. Maybe we were separated at birth, tween. So on that note, I'll see you in the next episode, tween.